Hey guys, it's Paradise, and here's the ultimate guide on how to get all 5 of the new katanas in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring. So whether you want to pull stars down from the sky to enhance your attacks, swing a blade of literal darkness, or a weapon that's literally called the Dragon Hunter, we have you covered on how to get them. Within this list, we will include the new weapon type, the Great Katana, which comes with its own moveset, adding to an already great roster of katanas with iconic weapons like the Rivers of Blood and Moonveil. There's 5 new katanas in total in the DLC: the Starline Sword, the Sword of Night, the Great Katana, the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, and Rakshasa's Great Katana. So with all of this goodness, we wanted to give you a definitive guide on how to get all of them. Drop a like and comment below if we help you out with this video, and comment your favorite one that you plan to use or are already using. Let's start it off with an easy one to get, and you can get this katana right at the beginning of the DLC. It's the Great Katana. This is fantastic with strength and dex scaling. It starts at D strength and D dex. It has a requirement of 14 strength and 18 dex. This is the only great katana on the list that allows you to actually apply an Ash of War to it, making it very customizable. However, by default, it does come with the overhead stance skill that performs a series of quick flurries after holding a stance. To grab this, you want to head here in this body of water within the starting area of the DLC. You can get there very quickly from the first site of Grace just by heading north and following this route on the map. In this rough area, you will spot a dragon, which you can try and take on if you're looking for some fun, but we recommend just grabbing the sword first, which will be at the body just in front of the dragon. This is definitely one you should pick up as it's very quick and easy to grab it, and if you slap on a different affinity, you can get very good scaling for the weapon and even apply a better status onto it or improved bleed. And next up is one of the coolest new katanas with an awesome unique attack and some int scaling, making it an effective mixture of the old Moonveil katana and Rivers of Blood. Also, it has this really cool glow-in-the-dark effect that I just love. This one requires 10 strength, 23 dex, and 21 int, with D scaling in strength and int, and B scaling in dex at higher levels. As it's a katana, it has a nice passive bleed, but the weapon really shines with its amazing unique skill, Onz's Line of Stars. Imagine the Rivers of Blood L2 combo, but instead you're dealing magical damage with a massively extended reach on the combo, as you're literally using stars and sorcery to improve your damage. The skill imbues the glintstones within the blade with sorcerous energy to execute a combo of slashing attacks that has 2 follow-up inputs to extend the combo, and the combo itself deals greater and greater damage with each hit. To get this, you will need to go to the Cerulean Coast site of Grace, and if you don't have this, you can head there from the Castle Front site of Grace. Just go southeast, down the hill, and break off the path to head underneath the mountain, which loops around into this swampy area. When you're in the swampy area, head north until you see a cave on the west. Keep left inside of this cave until it leads you to a big river. From here, go south down the river, parkouring across the rocks until you reach the Cerulean Coast. From the Cerulean Coast site of Grace, it's a very clear run to the boss that drops this, and it's a fairly easy boss too, so follow this route. So hop on your mount and start heading in this westward direction. It's a pretty clean run. I don't believe there's any important enemies on the way, you just need to know a few turns that you want to take, and there's an extra item to pick up on the way too. After heading west past these sort of spirit wormy boys, eventually there'll be a rightward turn into this sort of gap in the cliff. As you can see, there's trees, and as you go in here, there'll be a big tombstone. If you want the extra item on the way, what you can actually do is just head to the right-hand side first. As you can see, we want to go left, but just down this right-hand side, it's like a 1-minute detour. There's a shiny with an extra weapon that you might as well pick up on the way, the Spirit Sword, which is actually a pretty decent one as well. If you just wanted to get the actual katana though, instead of taking that right turn, just take this left turn, going in a sort of northwards direction, and then it twists around going west. There's another tombstone here, and we want to stick to the right-hand side. Don't go left on this second turn, stick on the right, and we'll come around to the coast. And in this coastal spot, a boss will spawn. You can see exactly here on the map. But this boss will actually drop the katana for us. It's the Demi-Human Queen Mariga. Now, there's a bunch of ads in this fight, but to be honest, with some AoEs, or if you're already over-leveled, you should be pretty fine. I spammed Adshida's Moonblade, absolutely destroyed all of them, and once the enemy is felled, you will get the Starline Sword. And then we have the Sword of Night, which despite its name is in fact a katana, and one of the coolest looking ones, being a literal shadow katana. This requires 11 strength and 20 dex, but has pure dex scaling with B at level 10, making it an awesome choice for dex builds. As usual with katanas, it has a nice passive bleed, but what makes this one very cool is its unique attack called Witching Hour Slash. This is literally one of the coolest looking attacks for a katana. You hold the weapon to the side as you charge the move to increase the slashes unleashed and its power, and then the attack itself cannot be blocked, which is just insane. To get this weapon, you need to complete Ymir's questline. This quest is quite long, but does reward you with several top tier items, including this awesome Sword of Night katana. I don't want to waste your time, so here's a quick version of how to do this. Basically, head to Ymir at the cathedral here on the map via this route that leads through Bonnie Village, over the bridges that loop around to the road, and then get to the cathedral. Talk with him and he'll give you a map piece that will tell you to ring a bell. You have to do this twice with the 2 bells that are located on the map, and you can find one of the bells here and the other bell here. After this, there will be a whole boss fight that you need to do, and then you must defeat him and Yorlan as an invader. After this, you can give Yorlan the Iris of Occultation, and she will drop the katana for you to pick up. If you need a fully detailed walkthrough with every route explained in detail, we have an in-depth video on the channel for this. It's quite a long quest, it has the Iris locations and everything you need to know. And then we have a really cool weapon with one of the best looking skills attached to it. It's the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana with D strength and D dex scaling to begin with, and it does require 15 strength and 20 dex to use. This katana's unique skill is called Dragon Wound Slash. It's a charged attack that sends off a massive beam, which is actually designed to hunt down colossal dragons. The weapon's art literally deals more damage to dragons, making it the perfect choice for Igon's questline. To grab this, you want to head to the Dragon Pit dungeon, located just south of the Castle Front Grace Point in the Gravesite Plains area. Once inside, you need to head to the bottom of this dungeon. Hug the wall on the left until you get to the area with the big staircase, and you want to go down the stairs into this big main room. Inside of this room will be a massive pit that you need to jump down, and this leads to the boss room where you fight the ancient dragon man to get this katana. Lastly, we have one of our favorite katanas in the game. It's an amazing strength E and dex C scaling weapon with the requirements of 12 strength and 27 dex to wield. It comes with the unique skill called Weed Cutter, which will allow you to mow down enemies as the name implies. The awesome thing about this weapon is that it gives you hyper armor during the attack, meaning you can trade with enemies more effectively. However, this benefit comes with the cost that you will take additional damage. To get this, you want to head to the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum, which is where you actually can fight Rakshasa to get this blade and his armor. The closest site of grace will be the Recluse's River downstream, and from this site of grace, you want to jump down using the platforms, which can be a bit scary, but just push through and stick with it, walk off and you'll be fine. Then you want to head up the river following the path until you see the hidden away Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. If you don't have this site of grace, you will need to head there from the Shadow Keep. Here's the full run to hopefully make this a lot easier for you. So from the main gate plaza, head west through this double door past the ghost, and there will be some enemies, but we're going to run right past them. We have showed this route on the channel before, but just in case you don't know how to get to this area, as it is a sort of locked off section behind a hidden wall, we're going to show you anyway. Go through the room where it looks like they're having a feast outside where these boats are, and watch out for the enemies that will come out behind these boats and attack you. But keep going straight, and just on the left up here by the boats, there'll be a ladder, and we want to go down this ladder. Remember, you can hold dash to actually slide down the ladder. Don't jump because there is some water here as well, but just under the waterfall will be a second ladder. Again, use that, don't jump, it's a very long fall here. But in this room, go east and there'll be a secret wall we've already attacked so you can see where to go, but just go through here, follow the water and go into the coffin that will allow you to get to an entirely new area. Wait for the cutscene to play out, and then you'll be down here in the water. Grab the grace point if you need it, otherwise mount up and stick to the right. One of these fire golem enemy things will wake up, so just keep riding and you can avoid him before he gets up and actually attacks you. When you get to the waterfall though, now we want to stick on the left hand side, and there will be some jumps to do because there are a few gaps, so grab that grace point there if you need it. Otherwise progress through this side of the cliff, jumping over the gaps as we go, and just up ahead will be some mobs, and that's your cue to jump over to the right hand side. And now we're sticking on this right hand side for a little bit, until eventually we can actually jump down and grab a Sight of Grace just ahead. So dodge all the mobs and then make your way down, grab this Sight of Grace, a nice checkpoint, because now we're going to be parkouring down this cliffside on these sort of tombstones. So on your mount, remember you have the double jump if you mess up. Just walk from one to the next until you actually reach the bottom, then head north and then turn to the east. Just up ahead here, you'll see the mausoleum with the boss inside of it. Once you're here, you now need to fight Rakshasa. This can be difficult if you don't come prepared, so make sure to use all of the tools at your disposal like buffs and items if you need to. It's good to note you can't summon in this boss fight, so you just have to get good and take him down. But by doing this, you'll get his sword, but also a top tier armor set that further increases the damage you deal. So which katana is your favorite, and did you enjoy this video? If so, drop a like and let us know. And subscribe for more Elden Ring content that we have coming your way very, very soon.